Obviously it's fun to be back playing basketball in Gallagher Arena. I mean, I'm excited for the future of this team and this program. It was a little bit of a rocky start defensively, but I thought that we righted the ship a little bit more in the second half and showed a glimpse of what we can be defensively. But we've got to be that for 40 minutes moving forward if we're going to be the type of team, that can actually make the NCAA tournament and win some games.
Was it something strategically that flipped defensively, or is it just a matter of concentration, locking in those things?
Matter of concentration and effort. Yeah, matter of concentration and effort. And we've started, I thought that we started the game at SMU thinking more offense than defense, and we've got to flip that mindset. And I've said it over and over to you guys. This team offensively, I think, is going to be okay, but our biggest area for growth is defensively, and obviously you saw that tonight.
Kind of just to the credit of that concentration effort, momentum swung hard in the second half. You guys were able to pull away and kind of make this a game that kind of fell out of reach for ORU. What was said in the locker room between halves that kind of brought them to that point? Was it kind of a fiery speech, or was it more collected, calm, sit them down and straight to the face?
Yeah, I think any of you that know me, it was probably not a collective, calm conversation. But I thought Kurt Cole diving on the floor before the half, I thought that got the crowd going. And so I credit Kirk with getting them going. And then the second half, we were able to come out and get a couple steals and a couple stops. But in reality, out of the first 4 possessions, we made a couple mistakes. We got a little bit lucky. But the conversation is, the G-rated version of the conversation is do your job. Play hard and do your job. And if you'll do that, we have enough talent on the roster that I think that we'll have a chance to win some games.
You've coached a lot of season openers. Is this kind of what you expected? Did you play better, or did you play a little less than what you expected?
It's hard for me to answer when you don't have 3 guys that'll be in the rotation in the game. So I give those guys credit. I mean, Chris Coleman hadn't played the wing position, the 3, for us in any practice. We've had 30 practices. So he did a good job of adjusting on the fly. I thought our best lineup was Chris, Rob, and Parsa. Those guys did a good job defensively. When you've got really, with Chris, he just gives you so much length on the perimeter. And, he stole that one where that kid threw it, and he's just so long, he just grabs it, But, you're going to have that when you don't have, when you're missing some guys, which, again, we added Auburn, and it's a credit to the fellows for figuring it out. And that's what good teams do. They figure it out when things are not perfect.
Yep, updates on those 3 guys.
Nothing more than what they said on the radio. Left Terrace is dealing with some personal stuff. Isaiah Coleman, it was a coach's decision. It was a discipline matter. And then who's my other one?
Roy.
Anthony Roy is day-to-day on an injury. So we'll see.
The day-to-day, obviously, you don't know, but for Coleman and Left Terrace, do you expect to have them Sunday?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, you never know, but yeah, I hope so.
You guys, obviously being shorthanded tonight, did that kind of impact? Obviously it impacted the game plan tonight, but were you kind of getting some of these guys to kind of do more in the offense than maybe they've done in practice, or maybe they did in the exhibition games?
You know what? I don't ever discuss all that. I just always tell them to play the way they're supposed to play. And if we'll share the basketball, we started off the game sharing the basketball. I think we assisted 4 out of our first 7 baskets, but then we got a little selfish and we took a couple crazy shots, and then we don't box out several times and they get offensive rebounds, and now you give them some confidence. And Oral Roberts is a well-coached team and they play hard, so that's our fault. But I don't really talk to guys about, hey, I need you to do more tonight. I just need you to be a good player and play the right way. And we've got good enough players that if they'll do that, we'll be fine.
Parsa and Vuk were both big factors inside in the game. Parsa starting and then Vuk playing behind him. What did you see kind of from those 2, mainly on the offensive side of the ball, but on defense as well, that was able to make them effective inside?
Yeah, I thought the first half that neither one of them gave us enough force defensively, right? Like they're out there on the floor and they're doing their job, but the other team doesn't feel them. Like you've got to impose your will in the game. And I didn't think that they gave us enough, especially in the ball screens and the handoffs. And then the other problem, especially in the first half, is that ball's moving to say we're going right to left. the guys that are over here on this right side are not coming over to the midline and helping. We did a much better job of that and got a couple steals in the second half. But between the two of them, I thought they had a good stat line, you know, and if you can, I always look at production by position rather than by person. And if we can get, I don't know what the final line on those two was, but probably 18 and 12, be my guess.
26 and 12.
Oh, 26 and 12, okay. Yeah, I'll take 26 and 12 out of the center position every single night.
How far has Millie come since he got here? That seemed like a totally different dude than we maybe saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, guys, that's not anointing him by any means.
Yeah.
I like him. He's been great. He's working hard. But, you know, it's still new to him. He didn't play much last year. So, you know, he's going to be put into some positions during the game that he's not going to be familiar with. And he's just got to continue to grow. But because of his physicality and his size, right, if he'll go put his body on people and he'll rebound the basketball, you know, he rebounded the basketball at Auburn, but he fell down a couple times. Tonight, he rebounded. He had himself under control. He was on balance, and he was able to finish and put things back in, and then he made his free throws, right? So if he can do those things, he's going to be a good player. I like him. I've always liked him. We just got to continue to grow.
Jalen Curry, 13-8. Jalen Curry at 13-8 and 6 with no turnovers. Just his overall game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Jalen played well. Outside of a couple crazy shots in the first half, I thought that he pushed the pace. He was in the right position for the most part defensively. I thought we got a little stretched out in the first half, and that's a lot of my fault as well. I had him picking up way high in the first half, whereas in the second half I backed him up some and gave him a little more room. But no, I thought Jalen did a good job, and you know, I mean, he's done well at Auburn. He did well tonight. SMU wasn't his best game, but if we can get him focused on running the team and doing what he's asked, I think he can be a productive player for us.
Coach Christian mentioned at one point about him and Parsa trying to take a leadership role as some of the seniors on this new team. With so many new faces, how have you felt about the leadership of your team?
I think it's in ebbs and flows. You know, I think that there's like many young people these days, when they feel good, they want to lead, and when things aren't always going well, you know, sometimes we'll point the finger and we'll complain and stuff like that. So I think it's got to get better, but those guys try. You know, Christian started off the game, I thought, a little timid, and then you know, he got a couple rebounds and he started smiling. And when Christian smiles and he's engaged, he's a pretty good player, right? But you know, we've got to worry about what's best for the team in all situations, not necessarily about ourselves. But he played great tonight. Had a double-double in his debut in an Oklahoma State uniform. If we can have that every night, boy, I'll take it.
Going back to Jalen, he had 8 rebounds. Just how valuable is it to have a guard to go and run down those long rebounds,
Yeah,
especially against teams?
it's fantastic. I tell those guys, and they get mad at me all the time. Jalen's our best rebounder. Pound for pound, he's our best rebounder. If you go look at our stats in the summer, if you look at our stats from August 25th till today, he's our leading rebounder. Now the guys are going to tell you it's because we box out and he just goes and gets the ball, which is somewhat true, but I don't let you on to practice, but if you came to practice, you would see that when we get into rebounding drills, he loves to rebound. So it's a heck of a bonus for our team. I wish we could have the same mentality out of all of them, right? I wish we were fighting for those rebounds more than watching, because we've got to get better in that area.
What does Victorious do to get to the line as well as he does? He did that at SMU as well. It seems like he's more mature than a sophomore.
Yeah, Victoria's got a really unique offensive game. Obviously, he can shoot the basketball. He can handle it. He's very skilled. I don't want to say he flops, but he certainly makes sure that he gets fouled. And when you're, whatever he is, 175, 85 pounds, you know, and guys are hitting you, you bounce off of them, you know. And so, you know, for him to take the next step, I want to put 15 pounds on him. I want him to walk out there and look like Isaiah Coleman and Anthony Roy, and then we'll have a really, really good player. But he's talented offensively. He really is, especially when he takes the right shots at the right time. He's pretty good.
Is it tough to prepare for a game like this, knowing you have A&M this Sunday? Like, you don't want to necessarily show your full hand. Does that ever cross your mind at all?
I worry about winning the game at hand. I I worried, whatever we had to do tonight to win the game, we were gonna do to win the game. You know, you can't worry about Texas A&M. I have no idea, you know, what they're gonna do. I think they got another game in between. They had one last night, they have one more in between our game, right? But we can't worry about that. We gotta worry about, you know, winning our first game at home with a good crowd and a good student section. And I thought people were engaged. I liked, I might get railed on Twitter for this, but I like the fact that we moved the fans down, and it's a more enclosed environment. It's a louder environment. They're fantastic on those free throws too. Brahms got to give away some ice cream tonight, if I'm not mistaken. That's a pretty good deal for Brahms, by the way. But anyways, no, I thought, again, man, you got to worry about winning your first game. It's all that matters.